There are 6 people you must never trust. Most people already have at least one of them close, laughing with them, sharing secrets with them, defending them without knowing they are defending their own destruction. These 6 are not enemies that attack you from the outside. They are shadows that move inside your circle, inside your home, sometimes inside your heart. And the most dangerous part is that you will only realize what they were after they have already taken what they wanted. Every betrayal begins with trust, and the first mask you must learn to see through is the smile that comes too easily. The overly friendly one is the deadliest disguise in human nature. They greet you with warmth so thick it suffocates your instincts. They compliment you before they even know you. They nod too quickly, agree too easily, laugh too loudly. Their entire act is designed to make you relax, to make you believe you finally met someone who understands you. But what you don't see is that their kindness has no roots. It's bait. It exists only to disarm you. Real allies earn your trust over time. Fakes rush to win it because they need access before you see what's behind the curtain. Watch closely. The overly friendly one remembers every detail about you, not to care, but to calculate. They study what makes you proud, what makes you insecure, what makes you react. They use compliments like keys, unlocking your confidence until you let them inside. They will mirror your tone, your humor, your passions, making you believe the connection is natural. It's not, it's performance, and every performance has a motive. You've met them. The colleague who praises your ideas until it's time to present, then quietly takes the credit. The new friend who flatters you daily, yet subtly asks for favors more and more. The stranger who showers you with kindness, then sells you something right after. They appear everywhere because their method always works. They win by pretending to adore you, and most people would rather be adored than alert. The overly friendly one thrives on your need to be liked. They study it like a hunter studies the wind. If you crave approval, they become your biggest fan. If you fear rejection, they become your comfort. They sense your emotional hunger and feed it, because the one who feeds you emotionally gains power over you. They create a rhythm of reward, praise, attention, laughter, until your guard lowers completely. Then they act. The knife always follows the smile. Once you depend on their validation, they shift. The tone changes. They become distant, colder, slightly irritated. You panic, wondering what you did wrong. That panic is control. They will use it to make you chase their approval again, to make you apologize for things you didn't do, to make you desperate to keep their fake warmth alive. That's when they own you, not because they are stronger, but because they trained you to need their praise. Every tyrant, every manipulator, every con artist begins their conquest the same way, with charm. Charm is the camouflage of danger. It's the sugar that hides the poison. It blinds your instincts, makes you forget what your gut was whispering in the first 5 seconds. You felt it, that small flicker of discomfort, but the smile drowned it. You wanted to believe the best in them. You ignored the unease because it felt rude to doubt kindness. That's how the overly friendly one wins. They weaponize your politeness. If someone praises you before they understand you, if they offer loyalty before earning it, if their warmth feels heavy, forced, and fast, it's not love, it's leverage. They are not drawn to your soul. They are drawn to your potential, your resources, your usefulness. When the moment comes that you can no longer benefit them, their smile fades like it never existed. The same mouth that once called you a friend will tell others your secrets with a shrug. Real allies move slowly. They observe quietly. They don't rush to enter your world. They earn their way in. The fake ones sprint because their goal is not connection, it's access. You must learn to see speed as a warning sign. Real loyalty grows like a tree. False loyalty blooms like a fire, bright, hot, and gone before dawn. So when someone flatters you too soon, when their kindness feels rehearsed, when their interest burns too fast, ask yourself, are they truly drawn to you, or are they just waiting for the moment you drop your guard? The next mask is harder to spot because it hides behind something that feels harmless: conversation, the gossip. They present themselves as social, charming, endlessly informed. They always seem to know everything about everyone. They say it's just talk, just keeping it real, just sharing what's already out there. But gossip is never just talk. It's the quiet trade of loyalty for attention. Every secret they repeat strengthens their influence while weakening yours. The gossip builds their power by collecting what others should have kept private and spending it to feel important. They draw you in with phrases like, "Don't tell anyone," or "You didn't hear this from me," and your curiosity betrays you. You lean in, you listen, you feel special because they trust you enough to share what others don't know. But you don't realize what that really means. If they talk about others to you, they will talk about you to others. You are not the exception, you are the next topic. The gossip has no loyalty, only momentum. The more they talk, the more powerful they feel, and they will talk until every bond around them turns to dust. At first, the gossip looks harmless, even entertaining. They make you laugh, they make you feel close. They whisper about others' mistakes, and for a moment you feel cleaner, safer, better. But gossip is a toxin that spreads through trust. It lowers the standard of loyalty in every room it enters. Once you accept it from someone, you unconsciously begin to mirror it. You become part of their network of betrayal. You may think you're different because you don't start the rumors, but the moment you listen, you feed them. They often disguise their cruelty as concern. "I'm just worried about her," they'll say, while slicing reputations open with their tongue. They pretend their motives are pure, that they share to help, to warn, to protect. But no one destroys another's image to protect them. They destroy it to elevate their own. The gossip's greatest pleasure is to see others fall while pretending they had nothing to do with it. They are the smiling spectator of every downfall, always claiming innocence as they light another match. If you ever notice that someone's stories always end with another person looking foolish, weak, or unworthy, understand what you're seeing. They are not describing others, they are revealing themselves. The gossip cannot build without tearing someone down. They don't know how to rise without comparison. Their entire sense of importance depends on knowing something others don't. That's why they collect secrets the way others collect coins. And when they've spent yours, they will find someone new to spend. The most dangerous part is that gossip feels good to hear. It gives you a rush of superiority, a sense of being in the loop. But that feeling is poison disguised as connection. Because while you're feeding on other people's mistakes, you forget how easy it would be for them to feed on yours. That's how trust decays, slowly, quietly, through words that sound harmless. The gossip will always tell you that what they share stays between us. But nothing ever stays between someone who cannot control their tongue. Their promises are as fragile as their morals. You will know them by the silence that follows their name. People laugh with them, but rarely around them. They are welcomed in every circle, yet trusted in none. They move from one friend to another, leaving tension and suspicion behind, pretending they have no idea why. But they know exactly what they are doing. The gossip is a saboteur of peace, a collector of weakness, a destroyer of unity. And if you don't silence them, you will eventually become one of their stories, twisted, retold, and never defended. So listen carefully. When someone always has something to say about others, always turns private stories into entertainment, always finds a reason to share what isn't theirs, they are not building connection, they are building control. And when you open your mouth to match their tone, when you echo their whispers, ask yourself, whose secret will they trade next, and could it be yours? The next one is subtle, but just as lethal, the promise breaker. The person who says yes to everything but delivers nothing. They are masters of commitment in words and cowards in action. They make you feel secure with assurances that never become reality. They talk like allies, they nod like leaders, they swear loyalty like saints, but when it's time to stand where it matters, they vanish. Their absence always arrives dressed as an excuse. I was busy, I forgot, I meant to, but... They sound sorry enough to disarm your anger, but not guilty enough to change. The promise breaker thrives on how much you want to believe them. You keep giving them another chance, because every time they disappoint you, they promise again with even sweeter words. They build their entire reputation on good intentions. You tell yourself they mean well, but meaning well means nothing without doing well. A promise breaker does not fail because of bad luck. They fail because of bad character. They say yes out of convenience, not conviction. Their yes costs nothing because it's made of air. You'll know them by the trail of small chaos behind them. Missed deadlines, forgotten favors, unkept secrets, unpaid debts. They always have a reason. There's always a story about why this time was different, why it wasn't their fault. But over time, you start noticing the pattern. They never fail when something benefits them. Their memory is sharp when the reward is theirs. They only forget when the effort is yours. This is the promise breaker's true nature, selective loyalty disguised as clumsiness. They are charming, often likable, because their words are generous. They speak in absolutes. I'll be there no matter what. You can count on me. Don't worry, I got you. These lines are not promises, they're performances. They are said to earn admiration in the moment, not to be honored in the future. The promise breaker wants the social credit of reliability without the burden of responsibility. They want the praise of being dependable without paying the price of actually being dependable. The danger of keeping one close is that they infect your plans with uncertainty. You start building your expectations around ghosts. You schedule, you prepare, you trust, and then they disappear, leaving you to hold the collapse. Every time you forgive them, they learn that your patience is infinite. They don't change because you never make them feel the cost of lying. And while you clean up the mess they leave behind, they are already out there making new promises to new victims. You might think it's harmless to tolerate them, but small betrayals accumulate. Every time someone breaks a promise to you, they steal more than time. They steal reliability from your world. They make you doubt others, and eventually doubt yourself. You begin to question your own expectations. You start lowering your standards to accommodate their inconsistency. And once that happens, you are no longer dealing with one unreliable person. You are living in a system built on uncertainty. The promise breaker is easy to forgive, but impossible to trust. They thrive in second chances. They collect them like shields, using your forgiveness as proof that they are good people. But a good person does not leave a trail of broken commitments. A good person does not destroy trust for convenience. They want the title of loyal friend without the discipline it requires. They want credit for intentions they never turn into reality. Remember this, loyalty is not what people say when the room is warm. It's what they do when everything gets cold. Words are currency for liars. Only action can pay the debt of trust. So when someone tells you they'll be there, don't listen to what they say, watch what they've done. Patterns speak louder than promises. And when you hear someone say, "I'll always have your back," "You can count on me," "I won't let you down," ask yourself this. If the day came when everything depended on that promise, would they stand beside you, or would they vanish into their favorite lie, whispering again, "I meant to"? The fourth mask is the hardest to confront because it often wears the face of someone you love, the silent envy. They act like they're happy for you, they clap when you win, they smile when you rise, they say, "I'm proud of you," but deep down your success burns them alive. They pretend to cheer, but every achievement you reach reminds them of everything they are not. Their applause hides resentment, their compliments carry poison. And though they may never say it aloud, you can feel it, the coldness behind their congratulations, the subtle hesitation in their praise. Envy rarely shouts, it whispers. It hides behind politeness, humor, even friendship. The silent envy will never attack you directly. They will not argue, they will not criticize. Instead, they wait for small cracks to appear in your life. And when they do, they smile inside. They love to see your light dim, just a little. They love to hear that you're tired, that you're struggling, that something went wrong. It reassures them that you're still human, still reachable, still beatable. They disguise their insecurity as humility. They'll say things like, "You're amazing, I could never do what you do," or "You're lucky to have those opportunities." It sounds kind, but there's venom inside those words. Because when someone truly admires you, they feel inspired. When someone envies you, they feel diminished. The silent envy cannot celebrate you because every one of your wins feels like their personal loss. You'll sense them when your victories start to make the room quieter, when your good news is met with lukewarm reactions, when you start hiding your progress to keep the peace. You will feel guilty for growing, ashamed for improving, and confused why the people who once supported you now seem distant. That confusion is how envy kills. It makes you question your right to shine. You begin to dim your own light just to make others comfortable, and that's exactly what the silent envy wants. They'll never admit it, but their goal is balance, to pull you back down to the level where they feel safe. They'll say things that sound like advice but are meant to slow you down. Maybe you should rest. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Not everyone will like that. They call it honesty, but it's sabotage. They want you to doubt your own pace, to mistrust your direction. Because if you keep rising, you become a mirror they can't stand to look into, one that reflects everything they refuse to become. The silent envy will never betray you openly. They'll still show up, still text you, still play the role of supporter. But in quiet moments, they will align themselves with anyone who opposes you. They'll lend an ear to your critics, not to defend you, but to collect ammunition. When rumors circulate, they won't start them, but they won't stop them either. They'll listen, nod, and maybe even add a detail or two to make it sound truer. And when you confront them, they'll act hurt, insisting they were only trying to help. The tragedy of trusting a silently envious friend is that you will keep trying to fix something that was never broken, their loyalty. You will try to include them, lift them, reassure them, but none of it will work, because envy cannot be cured by kindness. The more generous you are, the more they resent you for having the power to be generous. The more patient you are, the more they hate you for not losing your temper. Their hatred grows in silence until one day they simply fade away, and you'll never know why. So watch closely. Not everyone who smiles when you rise is truly happy for you. Some people stand beside you only to measure your height. Some cheer not because they love your progress, but because they need to see how far you'll go before they plot your fall. And when you notice that someone's support always feels slightly forced, when their laughter dies too quickly after your success, ask yourself, are they really clapping for you, or just waiting for the day the applause finally stops? Then comes the user, the one who appears only when they need something, the opportunist in disguise. They wear friendship like a keycard, not a bond. They enter your life when the door of convenience opens, and the moment it closes, they vanish without guilt. They text you when they're lonely, call when they're in trouble, praise you when they need a favor. But once their hunger is fed, they forget your name. You won't hear from them again until they need another meal of your time, your energy, or your kindness. The user's greatest illusion is making you believe that your value comes from what you give. They flatter you for your generosity, your skill, your loyalty. They make you feel needed, but they don't admire you, they exploit you. They map your strengths like a thief maps a house. They know what you're capable of, what you'll say yes to, what you'll tolerate. They study your empathy and use it as their leash. Every time you help them, they pull tighter. You think you're being kind. They know they're training you. They often disguise their taking as giving. They'll say, "You're the only one I can trust," or "I'd do the same for you." But they won't, because users live by one rule. Reciprocity is a myth. They view relationships as transactions. They count what they gain, not what they give. And when the balance tips even slightly in your favor, they vanish. They cannot stand to be in debt, even emotionally. Gratitude feels like weakness to them. At first, they appear harmless, even grateful. They act humble. They say thank you with sincerity. But over time, their requests grow larger. What began as small favors turns into expectations. They don't ask anymore. They assume. They treat your help like a resource, not a gift. They become entitled to your energy. If you ever say no, they guilt you. They'll call you selfish, distant, or changed. They twist your boundaries into insults, making you question whether kindness and servitude are the same thing. They're not. Kindness gives freely. Servitude bleeds quietly. The user doesn't want a relationship. They want a battery. They drain what's alive in you to power their own survival. They feed on your time, your confidence, your stability. And when you are depleted, they move on to the next generous soul. They never stay in one place too long, because staying means giving back. They are constantly seeking new hosts, new listeners, new helpers, new rescuers. They measure people by usefulness, not closeness. They are not always obvious. Some hide behind romance. Some hide behind friendship. Some even hide behind family. But their pattern is always the same. They disappear the moment you need them. When you're the one in pain, they grow quiet. When you stop giving, they stop calling. When you finally realize you were giving alone, it's too late. They've already found someone else to drain. You'll know you've met one when you start to feel tired around them. Not because they're loud, but because they're heavy. You'll notice how every conversation somehow becomes about them. How every solution ends with your effort. How every thank you feels slightly rehearsed. That is your warning. Users leave footprints in exhaustion. They are proof that not all vampires need fangs. Some just need your willingness to care. It's not cruelty to cut them off. It's clarity. Because every time you save someone who refuses to save themselves, you trade your energy for their lesson, and they will never learn it. They will just move on, telling others how you changed, how you forgot them, while already searching for their next source of warmth. So when someone disappears until they need something, when their affection always arrives with a request, when you can't remember the last time they gave without wanting, ask yourself, are they really your friend, or are you just the current host keeping their emptiness alive? And finally, the most dangerous of them all, the betrayer, the one who gets close enough to wound you from the inside. They don't enter your life to use you, flatter you, or gossip about you. They enter to study you, to learn your weaknesses, to earn your deepest trust, to stand beside you long enough that you forget what distance ever felt like. Then, when the moment comes, when your guard is completely down and your world depends on them, they strike. Not loudly, not with warning, but with precision. The betrayer is the artist of destruction who paints with your secrets. Every great downfall begins with one, not an enemy, a confidant. The betrayer is patient. They wait through your storms and sit beside you in silence so you mistake stillness for loyalty. They know when to listen and when to disappear, when to praise and when to challenge. They mimic the rhythm of true friendship so perfectly that you never suspect their agenda. You think you've found someone safe, but safety is just the mask they wear until the knife is ready. They betray not out of impulse, but out of calculation. For gain, for jealousy, for pride, sometimes just for the thrill of having power over someone who trusted them. They enjoy the intimacy before the strike, the knowledge that you would never expect it. The sweetness of betrayal lies in its timing. That's why it always comes when you are weakest. They wait for the moment when you lean on them, when you share too much, when you depend too deeply. They do not attack the strong. They wait until strength becomes comfort, and comfort becomes blindness. You can sense them if you pay attention. They never show discomfort when others insult you. They just watch. They gather your secrets but never share theirs. They act humble, grateful, even selfless, because selflessness disarms suspicion. They remember details, not to care, but to control, and in private they test boundaries, small betrayals at first, tiny acts of disloyalty disguised as misunderstandings. You forgive, because it seems too small to matter. But betrayal, like rust, begins in corners. By the time you see it, it's already spread through the entire structure. The worst kind of betrayer is the one who convinces you that loyalty makes you blind. They use your morality against you. They say things like, "Don't you trust me?" Or "You're overthinking." They make you feel guilty for noticing their inconsistencies. And so you silence your instincts in the name of peace. That silence is the betrayer's victory, because every time you doubt your intuition, they grow stronger. They want you to second-guess yourself until you need their reassurance to know what's true. That is how control becomes complete, not through domination, but through dependence. When they finally reveal themselves, it's never by accident. The timing is chosen for maximum damage. They will betray you when you've just shared your plans, when you've just opened your world, when you've just told them how much they mean to you. And the betrayal won't just wound your trust in them, it will corrupt your trust in everyone. That is the true power of the betrayer. They don't just stab the heart, they poison the concept of closeness itself. After them, even the innocent ones must prove what used to be natural. You can forgive a gossip, you can forget a user, you can learn from a flatterer. But a betrayer, they leave a scar that rewrites your perception of love and loyalty forever. You start to see the world through armor. You begin to test every word, every gesture, every smile. You start to expect deceit, even from the pure. The betrayer does not only steal your peace, they replace it with suspicion. They make you build walls so high that no one else can ever reach the parts of you they once touched. Yet the tragedy of betrayal is not the act itself. It's that you never see it coming from anyone but the ones you trusted most. And that's what makes this final warning matter. Betrayal is never random. It is prepared, it is studied, it is timed, it is earned through your trust. So when someone gets too close too fast, when they learn too much without ever revealing themselves, when their silence grows heavier than their support, ask yourself, are they truly beside you, or just waiting for the perfect moment to watch you fall? If you've made it this far, it's because a part of you already knows this truth. The faces you trust most easily are the ones that can ruin you the fastest. Betrayal does not come from enemies, it comes from friends, lovers, and allies. Now tell me in the comments, are you ready to see the traitor before he moves, to choose distance over disaster? Are you willing to cut ties before the knife touches your back? If this message touched you, If it made sense, write in the comments, "I see the traitor." Let's see how many here are truly ready to protect themselves from betrayal. And don't forget, keep watching the next video. It's important, much more than you imagine. See you there.